Welcome back to the Poker Model Hand Breakdown, everyone. I want to quickly discuss today what a bluff is, or what a bluff isn't. A bluff is not a feeling. It's not a random move. It's not connecting dots and your favorite, beverage or TV show at the casino and having it determine your next play. Not at all. A bluff is something that's calculated, and today you're going to see an example of that. And I just want to make sure that you understand what variables you're looking at, how to use them, and why things may or may not work for you, so you can dust off your poker hands and know that you made the right play, whether it worked out or didn't work out. So I have pocket twos, blinds are 100, 200, I have 14,000 chips, I have a large stack. Anything over 10,000 chips would be a large stack for me. Now, I'd be raising with any two cards over 7, any pocket pair, some of these suited connectors over 6, and hands like ace, any ace as well. So I'm going to come into the pot, I'm going to min raise, because pocket twos falls under that category. All right, my raise worked well in that it isolated the whole table all the way to the big blind who calls. Now the big blind has 29 big blinds left, and again, I have this large stack. I have over 50 big blinds, well over it. So what happens is, because I raised, I take control of the hand, and the big blind actually checks over to me. It's kind of like a momentum check. I'm the one that raised, which means the action now is kind of checked to me on the flop. Now, we've discussed this a lot. Let's take a look at our hand. Is it good, bad, mediocre? Our hand is bad. We have third pair or worse, and we have no draws or anything like that. So in these situations, the poker model recommends making a standard continuation bet, which is a bet that is made to try to get your opponent to fold right now. It should be about half the pot, which is an average size bet. So I make a bet of 500, really hoping that my opponent just folds. If he raises back, I'm going to fold. If he calls, we'll kind of see the next card, but I'm most likely going to be out of the hand. And if he folds, I'll win a nice pot. So I bet 500. My opponent calls the bet, and the 9 of hearts comes on the turn, and my opponent checks to me. Now, this is a pretty tough board, really, for anybody. If you have the king of hearts, you have the nuts. If you have the queen of hearts, you have a very good hand. 10 of hearts, pretty solid. But 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, or 2 of hearts, you're still kind of wondering if you might have the best flush. Any other pairs are kind of wiped out, because even the 2 of hearts beats 2 pair at this point. So let's take a look at my variables. This is not a bluff. I want to repeat, this is not a bluff. I have a large stack, check. I have the action back on me against a smaller stacked opponent, check. There's a board out here with very few hands that could possibly call unless they have a big hand like that. So that's another check. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make the second bet. So we've talked about when we're facing a second bet, we want to fold. So in this case, we're actually going to put a second bet on our opponent. Now, do I make it really small? No. When you're going for a bluff like this, we can call it a bluff. When you're making a play like this, you want to make your bet slightly larger than you would if it was a continuation bet. So I bet 1,300, which is more than half the pot, and you can see my opponent folds right away. So that quote-unquote bluff worked in that I know that my opponent did not have a heart. The only reason that I could make that play, according to the poker model, is because I have a large stack. If I have a medium stack or I'm approaching a small stack, I don't want to be wasting chips in this way, because he could have it, But in this case, if he did move all in over that second bet, I fold, I still have a large stack, and I move on to the next hand. So really just, again, look for these spots. Don't get all crazy with it, but know that we're going to give you this freedom to make this type of second bet. And the reason that it was successful in this one is because the board was just so rough, unless you have a heart, that you can't really play back against it. So thanks for listening again, and we will talk to you on the next episode of the Poker Model Hand Breakdown. As always, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Poker Model Hand Breakdown. For more training tools and Texas Hold'em advice, subscribe to our YouTube channel or pay us a visit at thepokermodel.com to see our weekly articles, bi-weekly podcasts, and other episodes of the Poker Model Hand Breakdown. Until next time.